Hi guys, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Dami, and if you're new, you're most definitely welcome. I'm a YouTuber based in London, Ontario, Canada, and I share lifestyle content as well as immigration content. So feel free to join the family by clicking on the subscribe button down below and get me to 10k before the end of 2023. Hopefully my wishes come through. Thank you guys so much for the love on my last video. So I posted a video about, it's not the last video, the video before the last. So I posted a video about how I got my PR in Canada, my permanent residence in Canada after 1 year of study in Canada, and that video did really well. Thank you guys so much for the love, for the congratulations, for the well wishes and the prayers. I'm really grateful for you guys. You guys are literally the best. Like, if I haven't said that's enough, you guys are literally the best. I got a lot of comments saying that, as people asking me how I was able to pass my Ielts and max it out, and I thought it would make a lot of sense for me to come here and make a video about that instead of having to reply every single person, which would probably take more time than me shooting this video. I have taken down some notes, and also I'll be sharing with you guys what helped me, the things that I did that helped me to pass my IELTS. And if you know anyone that's going to benefit from this video, share it right now before you jump into it. Okay, feel free to share, and let's jump straight into today's video. Okay, I have a bit of experience with general IELTS and academic IELTS, so I am giving you guys the information that I think probably worked for me, when I was doing mine. So I did the academic IELTS, and I also got, I think, 6.5 in reading, and I think I had 7 in writing at that point, because I think academic IELTS is a bit more difficult than the general one. In my personal opinion, I think that's how it is. So I did it 3 times in Nigeria, and I did not really pass to my satisfaction, because people always say you can't fail, you don't fail IELTS, your score just may not be enough for what you need it for. And at that time I was trying to get into Canada as a permanent resident from Nigeria, so it wasn't working, and I decided to come for school. I did it twice in Canada as well. So I did it the first time, and my result came out, and I had a 6.5 in reading, and it was devastating. So that's the brief background about how many times I wrote IELTS. If you do not know, there are 4 different parts of the IELTS exam. There is the speaking, there is the reading, there is the writing, and there is the listening. In my personal experience, I think my least favorite is the writing, because that, for some reason, I just always didn't pass the writing part of IELTS until the last time that I tried. So I'll be breaking it down into different categories. So the first one I'll be talking about is the reading, and I know a lot of people struggle with reading, and I'm not sure why. Reading and writing is like people's worst enemy when it comes to IELTS exam. And I think one thing that people really struggle with, especially people like me that struggle with reading really fast, which was one of my major downfall when it came to IELTS reading. And the things that eventually helped me with that, or to pass that, was that I eventually realized that for IELTS reading, the answers followed through as you read the question. Question 5 answer can never be before question 1 answer. So it's not like you have to read the entire passage, then you have to now start looking for the answers in between the passage. Because if you read really slowly like I do, you don't want to do that. You have to read the question, you have to read the passage as you answer the question. So once you get your script, check the questions, and I start answering the questions as it goes. I first glance through what the questions are. You don't want to spend too much time looking at all the questions. You just want to glance through the questions, take keywords from the questions, so that when you're reading the passage, your eyes would go to where the answer is, because your memory already picked that keyword. So you're reading the questions, you're looking at the keywords in the questions, and you're reading the passage. So once you start reading the passage, the first paragraph, trust me, sometimes the first 3 answers may be in the first paragraph. So as you're going through, you read the passage and you get the answers from there, then you keep going through like that. So it's always a flow, it always goes through a flow. You can't find question 10 answer in paragraph 1. It doesn't happen that way. So if you already have that in mind, you already know that I don't need to read the entire passage. If you're reading the entire passage, you've already taken like 3 to 5 minutes out of your time that you should be using to answer the question as you go. Another thing that I would say that is really, really important is for you not to waste your time. Time management when it comes to IELTS exam is the most important thing. So if you don't know how to manage your time, you probably would struggle. If you can't find the answer, if you feel like you're already spending 2 minutes on one question trying to figure out the answer to that question, just leave it. Just keep going. Answer the next one and the next one and the next one. If you have some time, always go back to the first one. And I would always advise that you shouldn't leave the question unanswered. If you cannot figure out the answer, just pick something eventually. Most times when you answer the next question, you will just automatically figure out where the answer to the second question or the first question is. So that way you don't waste time, you just keep going. If you're a slow reader, if you read really slowly, you probably want to practice reading more than you practice the other part of IELTS. It's not like you're not going to practice every other thing, but you want to spend more time practicing your reading past questions than you want to spend time practicing the others. Listening is my favorite part. I've never failed listening in my entire time writing IELTS, which is about 5 times of me writing IELTS. So when it comes to listening, the first thing you want to make sure you're doing is having the skill of active listening. Like you want to be attentive, like you want to make sure that you are very, very attentive to every single question that you are answering. You listen and you answer. That's how listening is. You can't say, oh, I want to listen to the audio, then come back to the question. You're not going to have the opportunity to listen to the audio again. So if you're practicing and you keep going back when you feel like you've missed a question, it cannot work. So if you're already practicing for your listening, always make sure you practice as if you are doing the test already. So you don't want to go back. I know you have the power to stop the audio when you're practicing. You have the power to stop it and go back, find the answer. Sometimes when I was doing my own practice, what I used to do, I would listen to it. If I feel like I've missed one question, I'll pause it, go back and listen again, which it cannot work because in your actual test, you don't have the power to go back to listen to the audio again. So active listening, you have to block out everything that is in your surroundings. Something will always distract you most of the time. So you have to practice in a space where you feel like there is a bit of distraction. I decided to start practicing in the place I was living, and there were kids around. There was noise constantly. So I started blocking every other voice and focusing on just the voice in my head. So that audio, you just want to focus on just that one and block out every other thing. If you can successfully do that, trust me, you've nailed your IELTS listening. Distraction is one of the major things that make people to fail IELTS listening, and I feel like listening is the easiest to pass. It is the easiest because you're listening, you're seeing the question, you're just waiting for them to say what the answer to the question is. So it is very easy to pass, but also very easy to fail. When you're doing your IELTS listening and you feel like you've already missed answer to the next question, just forget about it. Keep listening, jump to the next question and make sure that you get the answer to the next question. If you focus on getting the answer to the question that has already been said, you're setting yourself up for failure, and you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that you're listening, you're going with the flow, and you are shutting out every distraction. Another thing again that helped me a lot was practicing using different accents. So when you're practicing for IELTS and you're listening to the past questions, you sometimes would hear that there are some British speakers or British conversations, there are some American conversations, and there are some Australian conversations. So those are like the top 3 that I always listen to at the time. I make sure that I pay attention to those 3 accents. So you're listening to the British one, you're listening to the American one, and you're listening to the Australian one. So don't pick the one that you feel like is clearer for you. I sometimes look for the ones that when I start listening and I feel like the accent is really, really difficult, I want to use those type of practice, because when you are struggling to listen, when you're struggling to hear what the person is saying, it can be so difficult, and you can't pick the questions during your test. You can't pick the one that will be You can't pick the accents that would be given to you. You don't know if it's going to be a conversation from a British speaker, a conversation from an American speaker, or a conversation from an Australian speaker. So you have to practice everything, practice all three if possible, and you can even get more past questions with different accents. Go for it, because you don't know what is going to be given to you. You don't know the kind of questions that will be given to you when you start the test, and you want to make sure that you're practicing well. Practice as many as you want, practice as many as possible. I realize that there's some times that I'll max out the score. Like I'll get a total of, I think it's 50 questions. I'll pass everything and not even fail one. And there's some other times that I'll practice and I'll get like 39 and fail like multiple. So you don't want to practice just few. If you feel like I've practiced 5 times and those 5 times I got like 45 and 50. I don't know if it's 50 questions anymore or 20 questions. I can't really remember. I think it's 20 questions or 40 questions. I really can't remember. If you feel like you're practicing and you practiced 5 times and you got like the entire score, you maxed it out at like those 5 times that you practice, and you now leave it, you're not doing yourself any good. Keep practicing. Even if you feel like you listening is your best, keep practicing, because you can practice the next time and you will fail. So you don't want to stop practicing one because you feel like you're better at that. After listening, I think my next favorite is speaking. Speaking can be very tricky because you have a very short period of time for you to think of the answer that you're going to give your examiner. As you get into the room with your examiner, they're going to give you a piece of paper that would have the question that they're going to ask you. So they'll give you some time, I think about 1 minute or 2 minutes, for you to think of the answer that you're going to give for that question. What I would say helped me, I always put myself in that scenario. I always put myself in that conversation. Like I always make it seem like I was actually there. It's not every time you've experienced the question that they give you. Sometimes they can say, speak of a time where you had to invite a friend over or something like that, like something very simple. But if you're tensed, you probably won't have an answer to the question. So, and they build up on those questions. So once I get the question paper, I just look at it and I'm like, okay, speak of a time where you had a friend over, or speak of a time where you had a sleepover at a friend's house. I just quickly think about it. Okay, let me see. Even if I've not experienced that before, I just put myself in that situation. I put myself in that scenario and I'm like, okay, what do I do if I'm actually in this scenario? Another thing that you should put in mind when you're practicing for your speaking IELTS is that it's not always about your vocabulary. It's not always about the grammar that you use. It's not always about how vast or how big your vocabulary is. It's about how you flow in your conversation. So if you're conversing with your examiner, having a perfect flow is what they're looking for. They don't want to hear you say like that is already a red flag. You're already setting yourself up for failure if you're hesitating when you're answering those questions. You are saying, even if you're lying, even if you're giving them boo-boo, like they don't really care. They don't care if that has happened to you before or not. What they care about is your flow, how you flow through. And another thing with that happened to you, even if it has not happened to you before, is that you should enjoy the conversation. Make it seem like you're talking to a friend. Make it seem like you're giving a summary of what happened while you were away. If they asked you, for instance, think about a time where you had to sleep over or where you had a sleepover at a friend's place. Just enjoy. Make it seem like you went for a sleepover, you came back and you're telling your other friends about the sleepover. Explain everything. You want to also go in depth. It's not just about saying, oh, so my friend invited me for a sleepover and I got there, we had drinks, we had fun, and we slept. Like, you want to make sure that you are conversing. It's even better when they stop you from talking than when you stop yourself. The last is writing. Writing is my worst nightmare when it comes to IELTS, and that was why I left it for the last. I think the best thing for writing is for you to practice using different types of sentences. So you want to use simple sentences, you want to use complex and compound sentences. So it's not just about you writing the car is yellow, full stop. There are some times where you have to say the car is yellow and you put full stop. There are some times where you have to say the car is yellow, but it was initially purple and was painted yellow. Like, you have to build up on some sentences. Some sentences have to be simple sentences. They want to see how you can build sentences. They want to see your range of sentences. They want to see your vocabulary. They want to see what you can put down, not just speaking. They want to see if you can actually put those things into paper and make it make sense. So honestly, I don't have an actual tip when it comes to writing. I think the best thing you can do is keep practicing, expand your vocabulary, practice compound sentences. Simple sentences are simple. Obviously, anybody can write simple sentences. A child in grade 2, a child in grade 1 can probably write an essay using simple sentences all through the essay. But they can't give you an essay asking you to talk about World War II. Obviously, they're not going to ask you to talk about World War II, but they can ask you to write a letter to your friend, inviting them for a sleepover, and then you write a letter writing everything in simple sentences. I, Dami, full stop. I want to invite you for a sleepover, full stop. Those things that would make the conversation continue. Instead of saying, it's been a while I last spoke to you, full stop. Add subordinating conjunctions to your simple sentences. So 2 simple sentences joined together makes a compound or complex sentence. So if you say, my name is Dami, full stop, my favorite food is bread, full stop. Those are 2 simple sentences. And what would transfer those 2 simple sentences into a complex sentence is for you to add conjunctions, like subordinating conjunctions. So instead of saying my name is Dami and my favorite food is bread, you'd say my name is Dami and my favorite food is bread. So that and in between there is what makes it go from a simple sentence into a complex or compound sentence. So they want to see how you can actually expand your sentences. They want to see your flow in writing essays. They want to see your flow in writing letters. They want to see how you can start the beginning, like the introduction of your letter or the introduction of your essay is very, very, very important. The body of your essay is very, very, very important as well. The ending of your essay is also very, very important. So the beginning is your introduction. The body is what actually you want to talk about. The end of the essay is where you're saying your goodbyes, and also like your farewells and everything should be at the end of your essay. Also, it is important to know when you want to use yours faithfully, yours sincerely, and also like your dear sir, dear mad. You just need to know at different points where you need to put different things inside of your essay or letter. So there are several people that their YouTube channel is just about IELTS. There are several people that they even have like groups where they would mark each other for their IELTS. Like, there are several resources. Just look for it. Look for the one that you enjoy. One that I really enjoyed when I was practicing was Liz. I can't remember what she's called, but I will link our YouTube channel and every other thing about her. I think she also has a website. I will link it below so that you can go to check. I don't know if she still does it, but if she still does it, I'll link it in the description. Another one is Jay. Jay is also really, 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 really good when it comes to teaching you how to pass your IELTS exam. I would also link Jay's channel in the description. And Fast Track IELTS. Our channel is also really good. She gives you tips and tricks on how to pass your IELTS as well. And if I also find any other person that I'm forgetting right now, I'll link them in the description, and feel free to check them out. I really wish you guys the best. IELTS is one thing that you want to do and just forget about. It is draining, it is annoying, and it's calm. Yeah, I said so. It is a scam. I don't know why we have to write IELTS if we are from English speaking countries. Honestly, I've been speaking English since I was born, and I don't think there's a reason why I should be tested for my skills in English language. But that's fine. They need us to do it, and we have to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I gave 1 or 2 tips that is helpful for you. If you think this video is going to be helpful for someone else that you probably know is practicing right now, feel free to send this video on to them, and I really appreciate it as well. Thank you guys so much for sticking to the end of this video. I'll try to edit it to be as short as possible. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, subscribe right now. This is the perfect time to do so. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.